It starts with yourself, man. You got to start diving into those things that you are afraid of. You don't gain confidence by going to the spot that makes you feel good. It's going to be a false reality. And the second life gives you that challenge, all you want to do is go back to what made you confidence or what gave you confidence. Is that happy spot? No. What gives you confidence, what gave me confidence, was spending years at a kitchen table trying to learn how to read and write on my own. Realizing I can't learn the way you learn. I can't. But I can learn. What gives you confidence, not being afraid, is overcoming the fear. I used to stutter severely bad. So right now, I don't know how many people are going to watch this. You know what gives me confidence? Is knowing I no longer care if I sit here and start stuttering to you. That's what gives me confidence, is facing these things, overcoming them. And maybe not overcoming them every day, but facing them and facing them and facing them. Pretty soon like this, you know what, man, this is where it's at. It's not in that comfort zone. It's in the discomfort zone is where my confidence is getting built. That's where it's getting built. But people want an easier answer. There has to be an easier way. There's not. I'm sorry. I searched for it my entire life. And I still felt empty. I coach a lot of people nowadays, billionaires, who call me on the phone and say, man, I'm still missing something. It's because they did what they were good at. And they have this beautiful family, 2-3 houses, cars, everything. Has everything in the world. On the outside looking in, like, my God, man, how can you be unhappy? I walk around with a backpack with all my stuff in it, with no car.
Right.
And I walk around happiest person in the world. Have nothing. Happy as hell. It's because I found out the whole key to life. It's not in all that. You have to face yourself. So many people live to be 100 years old and they die miserable, having everything, because they never examined. I call it my live autopsy. You never examine this. Happiness, peace, enlightenment, it's all up here, man. It's all up here. If I start talking like this, people go, man, no. It's the truth, man.
Yeah, it is true.
It's all up here. You just gotta be willing to go and face it. And that's the hard part. So basically, as you know from the book, hope is, when I was going through SEAL training, a lot of people hoped that they would pull us from that cold water. Man, hope ain't gonna get you shit, because it's not in your hands. Hope is not in your hands. You can't control hope, man. You can't. It's just hopefully this thing happens. But when you get belief, when you start to create belief, and belief isn't like an after school special. Most people think, oh man, like your mom and dad, you need to believe in yourself. Sesame Street, when I was growing up, you need to believe in yourself. That's not the belief I'm talking about. It's the belief that you harness through hard work and dedication. And it's something that you know what you are capable of because you've gone there several times in those dark times. So my belief, why I kept on going back to Navy SEAL training and going back to all these different things, not because I hoped training would get easier. It's because I believed I could make it. Through the training I put myself through, I just wasn't doing and executing as I should. And I knew that. It was all on me. So then when I put that belief into work and that hard work came to fruition, everything happened for me.
People want to know how to get permanent, lasting results. It's just not easy. Some folks go from heavy to losing weight, back to heavy again. Some folks go from lazy to studs, back to lazy. The list goes on and on and on. A lot of folks take the 4-lane highway to get their results. The 4-lane highway is just that, it's the easy route. On that highway, they have road signs. 5 miles up, hotel. 10 miles up, restaurant. Restrooms, all that. It's the easy roadmap to success. Nothing there is permanent. But the other choice that makes permanent is the shovel. That shovel leaves you with calluses on your brain, on your hands. They're permanent. Pick up the shovel, stay hard. It might be April where you are, and you're expecting nice weather, but it's 20 degrees. So, you might be somewhere where it's too hot. So, you might have sore legs, sore back, sore shoulder. So, the struggle is real. It never gets any easier. You gotta get harder. I was out yesterday, getting after it. Had one of the best runs I've had in a long time. PR'd that. So, no one cares what you did yesterday. It only matters what you're doing today. Those who take me literally, so I'm a cheerleader for those who want to be better, not for those who want to stay the same. Stay hard.
A lot of us like to visit a very uncomfortable world, like living with the SEAL. He visited for 30 days, an uncomfortable world. That's my lifestyle. People ask me, so why do you still do this every day? I'm 43 years old. I did 21 years in the military. Now I'm a firefighter. I'm a wildland firefighter. I don't need it. I'm good. Why do you still do this? You right now are a leader. You sit in this chair right now to thousands, hundreds of thousands of people. That's why you do it. Why you get up at 3, 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning is because you are setting the example for others to follow. So people always go, what drives you now? What should drive you now is no more you. Like you said, I'm comfortable. I'm good. It's not about you anymore.
That's right.
You have to change your mindset to God gave you everything you want. It's pay time. You got to now start paying bills for the people in your mindset. So you're suffering now. Like when people say, why do you get up at 6 o'clock in the morning? So then you can come in and set the example for everybody else. I don't care what age you are or where you're at in life. The second you stop doing that, you stop growing. And therefore, you stop being back to that leader. You're growing in a comfortable world. You're allowing yourself to grow in a world that you are fine growing in. There's no real growth there. The real growth is right now, you don't want to, you know where you should go. That's why you're not there. It's that place where you wake up and you're, man, I don't want to do this today.
I'm not challenging myself physically like that.
But see, what people don't get though, the physical is what starts everything. You have to challenge yourself physically every single day of your life. And that's where the growth comes from. The growth comes from there, 100%.
Yeah, like the physical pain does something for us.
It does something for everyone. For everyone. Takes the growth in your mental aspect, in your spiritual, everything grows because you start feeling better about yourself. And not many things on the planet make you feel good about yourself like getting after it. So when we finally left Buffalo, after all the physical and mental beatings that my dad handed out, we left Buffalo and I went to a, to me, even worse environment. I went to a very small town in Brazil, Indiana, where there was about 5 black families. And in 1995, the KKK marched in our 4th of July parade. So that being said, it paints Brazil, Indiana, that, you know, that's the town I'm talking about, in a very bad light. And there are a lot of good people in this small town. So I want to make that very clear. Sure. But what happens is when you come from a very broken foundation, your mind only sees hate and evil. There was one time I was in my sophomore year, walked in my Spanish class to get my notebook, opened my notebook up, and inside the notebook, someone drew a little character of me in a stick figure hanging from, you know, like that, like a noose.
Yeah.
On like a hangman game. At this time in my life, I was a sophomore and I had about a 4th grade reading level because I cheated all through school. All through school I cheated because I realized I was going to get put in a special school. So I found a way to get by, and this is how I got by.
Right.
So what I'm getting at is all this between my stepfather getting murdered or soon to be stepfather getting murdered, all these things compounded into the lowest of low self-esteem. So what started happening was I started lying. I became an amazing liar because I wanted people to like me. When you come from a society like I did, I had 0 self-esteem and I feared things. I had 0 self-confidence and I was looking for anything I could that I could gravitate to. So it was lying. But that's when I realized, and it was a long process, that without having self-esteem, you are done. That's the number one thing you have to have in your life. My mom was working 3 jobs. she wasn't at home ever. So she didn't know how badly, but my job as the man of the house is just me and her. I didn't want to tell her how bad life was for me, how bad I was struggling, how much school I was missing, how far behind in my studies I was. They sent a letter home to her saying, you know, your son has missed like 25% of the year. These are his grades. She never saw one report card. My mom never saw one report card of mine. So my junior year, she got this, she looked at it, and she was going through so much stress in her life. She looked at me and said, you're gonna fail high school. And that was about the only advice she gave me. She was dealing with so many issues mentally.
Yeah.
And I sat there and I went to the bathroom, and I used to have all these different haircuts. And I used to dress all kind of crazy because I was looking for attention, because, you know, being one of the only few black kids in school, I was looking for somewhere to stick. I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna create a character. And I went in the mirror and I called it the accountability mirror. I went in the mirror as my mom sat me down to bed and said, you're gonna fail. That's the only advice I had. And my principal, no one had any good advice for me. I was alone. And that's why I talk about the voice in my book a lot. And that voice is God, obviously. But I went to the mirror, the accountability mirror, I looked in and I said, my God, man, you are on your own. And what are you gonna do about it? And that's when I slowly started to change my life. But, you know, it doesn't happen that quickly.
No.
But I slowly started to change when I was about 17 years old. I went to a recruiter's office, and the recruiter said, hey, you have to take an ASVAB test. And like I said, I had a 4th grade reading level my junior year. So long story short, I failed that a few times. I had one more chance to take that test. And that's when I really developed my work ethic. And how I learn, still to this day, is I have to get the books in advance, and I have to literally get these spiral notebooks and copy down every single thing in that book and put it to like a photographic memory.
Oh, yeah.
And so I will go through and say, okay, page 71, I saw that question. I'll go back through, 'cause I knew I had it written it down like 35 times.
Yeah.
And that's how I recall it now. So even to this day, that's how I develop all my work ethic.